sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
The deposit-taking SACCO movement is a key driver of mobilizing savings and extending credit in Kenya. The sector has at least 342 billion shillings worth of deposits and 374 billion shillings worth of loans disbursed in the economy. How is this movement weathering the COVID-19 storm? How are borrowers' loans being restructured to help them tide through the COVID-19 economic downturn? This Tuesday, Business Redefined discusses the SACCO movement, savings and the COVID-19 shock.
The retirement benefits industry in Kenya is a 1.2 trillion shilling industry. The large size of assets notwithstanding, only 20% of the country's working population is enrolled in a pension scheme. This means that majority of the working population is left without a steady income upon retirement, leaving them susceptible to deteriorating socio-economic standards. This Monday, the Nation Leadership Forum will host a virtual discussion on how to widen the net of the retirement benefits industry in Kenya and make it more inclusive across the labor force. This discussion will also delve into emerging issues within the pension sector, including reforms proposed in the budget for the financial year 2020-2021 and what this portends for the country. Nation Leadership Forum, engaging society, impacting the nation.
Asante. Mujisikie mko nyumbani. Huyu ni kama hajakula kitu. Niko na njaa. Haya ngoja. Oda. Hapa tunakula mzima. Malenge. Sizile ndio ungetupatia kuliko hii. Ile ni ya wageni wangu wanakuja. Lazima tuchore auntie. Wewe lala. Oi. Nini tena? Liabu akifanya hivi unampatia kitu tamu.
Selector, bigger, tasty and healthy. And now Selector comes with free Choco Primo drinking chocolate for a limited period of time.
Ile utamu iko hapa, watafurahia sana.
More than ever, a clean bathroom is important to ensuring the safety of yourself and your family, as this is the first room we visit to wash up after coming from outside. Ace Bathroom Cleaner is a powerful antibacterial limescale remover for all your sinks, tiles and bathroom surfaces. Ace Bathroom Cleaner strips away grime and soap scum on all bathroom surfaces, brightens your bathroom surfaces without leaving any residue, kills and prevents the growth of germs. Ace, we make your home feel brand new.
Niko sawa. Hivi nimetoka clinic na baba Brenda.
Mume wako anakubali mwende hospitali pamoja? Wangu hata nimlipe hauwezi kubali.
Ilibidi twende na yeye nipimwe. Yeye hapimwe. Kama kuna HIV nipewe dawa ndio mtoto asipate HIV.
Wanaume wenzangu, kuandamana na mama akienda clinic na pia kujua hali yako ya HIV ni muhimu. Inaonyesha unamjali na pia unajali mtoto wako mtarajio. Je, unajijua?
Unapoendelea kujikinga kutokana na HIV, tafadhali zingatia taratibu zote za serikali za kujikinga na virusi vya corona.
Afya bora, maisha bora. Jipime, jiinue.
I'm here for small biasharas in my hood or beyond. I'm here for my customers who are sought every time they come through. Put your business on the map with Visa. Where you shop matters.
Nimeosha mikono osha yako. Ikiwezekana fanyia kazi kwako. Hata Mungu muabudie kwako. Yuko kila pahali.
imeshafika kwao. Kwa huruma zake Mungu ashinde kifo. Nawe jizuie. Ni kwa muda tu tutashinda.
The Kenya School of Revenue Administration, KESRA, is the leading capacity builder of choice in tax, customs and fiscal policy in Africa. It is one of the only 4 World Customs Organization WCO accredited regional training centers in East and Southern Africa. KESRA is also the regional training institution for African Tax Administration Forum (ATAF) and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD). Charter career or business path in tax consultancy, audit, customs, clearing and forwarding, shipping and financial advisory. Now is your time. Apply now for certificate courses in Tax Administration, Customs, Administration and East Africa Customs Freight Forwarding Practicing Certificate EACFFPC. Diploma programs in Tax Administration, Customs Administration. Higher National Diploma in Tax Administration, Customs Administration. Postgraduate diploma programs in Tax Administration, Customs Administration, Master's program in Tax and Customs Administration with specialization in tax or customs. The Kenya School of Revenue Administration, transcending to excellence.
This is NTV.
Good evening and a happy Father's Day to our extended family. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition, and we have a special treat lined up for you this Father's Day. We have a special feature by Rose Wangoi of Widows and how they are coping following the demise of the mothers and wives in their lives, and that's coming up in not too long, so definitely stay tuned to NTV Weekend Edition. But as has become our custom, we start with the global numbers as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned, and the total number of confirmed infections stand at 8,965,486. The number of reported deaths stand at 467,652. Those who recovered globally stands at 4,770,391. Closer home, Africa, we have 301,045 confirmed infections. As far as reported deaths are concerned, we have 7,972. As for those who recovered on the continent, we have 146,030. Further afield in the US, we have 2,336,351 confirmed infections. The number of reported deaths stands at 122,036. And those who've recovered, that number is 973,089. When we come back, we bring you the numbers locally. Here's what we have lined up.
Tonight, more grim news as Kenya marks 100 days of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have registered 260 positive cases, just to illustrate my point. That's the highest number from a sample of 3,651 in the last 24 hours.
Kenyans are grasping for air due to the prevailing economic turmoil.
More people, are unable to make ends meet. And with this, there is immense psychological stress.
And Nairobi Hospital and Jubilee Insurance are quarreling, and it's all about the money.
We are not going to pay for items which are obviously overbilling, which are obviously grossly exaggerated.
Meanwhile, those under Jubilee cover unable to pay for services using the card. Also tonight, a woman chops off husband's private parts. Reason? Plus, tales of fathers raising children alone after adversity.
That affection, when there are two parents, at least it's shared. You know, if you're not getting it from this parent, you can always get it from this parent.
I think women can cope with the passing of the husband. They're stronger.
Dear Dad, our Father's Day special.
This is Weekend Edition with Olive Burrows.
Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno. It has been 100 days of soaring numbers and devastating loss of life, with occasional tales of a triumph from the coronavirus. 100 days of strict control and containment measures and difficult economic conditions for millions of Kenyans struggling to stay afloat in the face of a global crisis. Kenya has recorded the highest number single-day infections at 260 from 3,651 samples, raising our total caseload to 4,738. At the same time, 21 individuals have been discharged from various hospitals for 1,607 cumulatively. Sadly, 2 more people have died from the disease, and now the death toll stands at 123. Nairobi County continues to lead with the highest number of new cases, and that is 156. Mombasa stands at 42. Kwale has 15 new cases. Kiambu has 15 and Machakos has 9 new infections, and they make up the top 5 counties in that regard. 254 of those newly infected are Kenyan nationals, while 6 are foreigners. And broken down by gender, 176 of them are male and 85 of them as female. As Helen Aura reports, the Ministry of Health says the worst could still be on the way.
For 100 days, the COVID-19 numbers in Kenya have been churned out, almost with a numbing effect, but a sobering one at the same time, with the reality that these are lives involved. With 40 counties out of 47 each recording cases, Nairobi and Mombasa have been marked as hotspots.
When COVID-19 struck, Kenya had never had a situation that required the mass quarantining of individuals, and we therefore did not have a framework for it. The experience on how to deal with it, and regulations on whose responsibility lies where.
In the month of March, the ministry managed to test 3,419 samples, out of which 78 people tested positive. In April, the ministry tested 19,108 samples, out of which 328 people tested positive. By May, the testing sample size increased to 57,527, with 1,615 people testing positive. As at 21st June 2020, the ministry has tested 59,958 samples, with 2,717 people confirmed positive. With the increased capacity in testing, the need to have more bed capacity in hospitals follows.
There are many commendable examples of counties that have committed themselves to the rapid building of capacity. We congratulate them and remain confident that in the next 2 weeks, all counties will have at least 300 isolation beds as directed by President Kenyatta.
Today, 550 patients have been discharged for home-based care, 338 persons from the Kenyatta University Hospital and 212 persons from the Coast General Hospital. Contact tracing has also proven to be a challenge, especially in informal settlements, with the government employing technology as a means to ease the process. But with no data protection laws, many fear that they could be hacked in the process.
We're very clear that we want to protect people's privacy. But even as we do that, when it's a health issue, when it's a security issue, we ensure that the public safety comes first. Apple and Google are primarily providing an app that is on the smartphones. In Kenya, we have actually many more phones, the feature phones. And so as a country, we're prepared for much more than just the smartphones. It is a good product and service. that has been added so that you can tell, where you've gone.
With the 100 days outlook, Kenyans will have to be more patient as the president is set to receive further direction from the National Emergency Response Committee as to whether there will be a reopening or not in the next 15 days. Helen Aura, NTV.
Staying with matters health, if you are a holder of Jubilee insurance, you will not access medical services at Nairobi Hospital using your insurance card at least until a disagreement between the hospital and insurer over claims is resolved. Nairobi Hospital has suspended the services, accusing Jubilee of not settling debts running as far back as 2018. But as Alex Mwangi now tells us, the insurer is contesting the figures.
To Jubilee Holdings 4 days ago, the Nairobi Hospital outlined several outstanding balances that the insurer is yet to settle. According to the letter, Jubilee accrued 33 million shillings in 2018 and 47.8 million shillings last year, and a further 96 million shillings since the beginning of the year. Cumulatively, the hospital says as at the end of last month, that Jubilee Insurance owes it 357 million shillings. But Jubilee Insurance disputes those figures and puts the outstanding dues at 80 million shillings. Now the hospital has suspended the Jubilee Insurance account, but the insurer accuses it of mischief.
We had already brought the teams together, but they jumped the gun and they said, pay fast before the services can be continued. Our position as Jubilee is we are not going to pay for items which are obviously overbilling, which are obviously grossly exaggerated.
Speaking to NTV on phone, Nairobi Hospital's chief executive, Dr. Alan Pamba, said that negotiations have been going on for 8 weeks. He says the hospital is willing to resume services if the outstanding balance is settled. In this Sunday morning tweet, Dr. Pamba alluded to the reasoning behind the suspension, and I quote, "Hospitals are currently operating on constrained revenues." He adds that on-time payment by insurances for services rendered is critical.
I told them I can give you some money. Jubilee as a company is rich enough to support its partners if they are in distress. So on Thursday, we had offered to give them 100 million shillings.
According to Jubilee, clients can still get treated at the Nairobi Hospital, only that the insurer handles the payment in cash, which may be inconveniencing to a client as far as time is concerned. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
I promised you a treat, and here it is. When one loses a spouse, the journey after is often a difficult one, characterized by making adjustments to accommodate the void left in their heart and indeed their household. It's a journey that tests and challenges their tenacity and most of all, their ability to step into the shoes of their partner gone in caring for the children. Our award-winning features reporter Rose Wangui spoke to several widowers on the psychological effect of losing their partners and how they took up extra parental duties. Here is our Father's Day special. Dear Dad, the hashtag, before I let you get into it, is Dear Dad. I will be looking at your comments as soon as we take a break.
My name is Bartonjo Chesaina, a widower. I lost my wife on March 11th of 2011. She had had diabetes which affected her heart. That evening she was watching news and she just collapsed in the sitting room. I was away, I was in Nakuru. My daughter rushed her to Gertrude's in Lavington and she was pronounced dead on arrival. My bed was made, as usual, for 20 years. So the next morning, I went to the mortuary and to do all these things. When I came back at night, my bed was unmade. It hit me. That's when I screamed. That's when I realized it is for real. She's no longer here. You look at her car is sitting there. If you enter her car, you find what do you call those things? Lipsticks and stuff and all this. And of course, the wardrobe, you know, these are her clothes, these are her shoes, these are whatever. So what do you do with them? Do you keep those clothes? Do you keep her shoes? What do you do? We had kids, but thank God they were a little bit grown up. The firstborn was 18 at that time, and the lastborn was about 9 years old. I was a businessman. I didn't have time at home, so all of a sudden I'm in charge of things that I didn't even know what shopping was. I didn't know the price of eggs. I didn't know the price of unga. Yeah, but I had to learn all those things. I had to learn to be home to make sure everybody has eaten, everybody is sleeping well. Those are things that my wife used to do. And I miss her for so many reasons, including the arguments we used to have, because I'm nostalgic about that, because when she was annoyed, she would twitch her nose, the nose would twitch, and I knew that she's now annoyed. And it was good. It was fun having those arguments, because the next day we would laugh about it. I remember one time she told me to buy a new set of sofa sets. I said, no, these sofa sets are still new. So she told me a friend of mine's sofa sets were better than mine. So I told her, if that is the case, go and sit in Kim's house, if it is those sofa sets. So the next day when I called her, I got home, she wasn't there, so I called and said, where are you? She said, I'm in Kim's house. You told me to go and sit on Kim's sofa sets. So here I am seated here. I had to buy sofa sets. I'd stopped drinking for like 20 years. But after she died, I have like a glass of wine, then it went on and on and on and on and on. It's been difficult for me to cope, even business, even why I'm in Kajiado now. I think I'm running away from a lot of memories in Nairobi, so that I left my house because everywhere you turn, there is the presence. But it's been a tough 9 years or so, bringing up these people, especially the girls. The boys, we can understand each other, but then I could not relate on how to bring up the girls, how to harass them to keep them in the narrow path. And yeah, I can see the results of both. I have a daughter, for example, who could not take the death of the mother. At that time, she was in university in South Africa. She was my wife's favorite daughter. And slowly she did it, just like me. I went into alcohol, she went into drugs. We didn't even know it. We didn't even know until 3-4 years ago. So we've been taking her to rehab. Right now, as we speak, she's in rehab.
How did you stop drinking? Which point you realized it was taking too much?
When it no longer worked. It was no longer a depressant, it became a problem. There is no college where you can go and be taught how to be a father and a mother at the same time. You just have to figure it out, and pray to God to say, please show me how to do this. I have tried my level best to bring up my kids. My last born is now studying in first degree. The others are working. They have also been supportive of me.
I had lived with my wife for the last 13 years. We discovered that she had leukemia in the year 2016, May. But it looked like she got it way earlier. She was in and out of hospital for more than 3.5 years. but unfortunately, she passed on last year, 13th August. And that is when the journey of single fatherhood started. Yeah, it's been exciting, confusing. I was at a denial stage where I felt like she'll still come back. After 3 months, when it really hit me that, she's not coming back. You see your bed there, whereby that's a bed that you're sharing, two of you, and now that other person now will never sleep on that side again. That's something that you're going to carry for the rest of your life. I have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. One of them is 12, the other one is 10, and the smallest now he's 6. Let me show you. I had so much pressure. I had to wake up at 4, sleep very late to ensure that everything is well taken care of so that I don't rush in the morning, trying to put the uniforms in place, making sure that they get breakfast. But when I was able to get a house help, the pressure came down. They ask a lot of questions. They do. And especially the youngest one. At times he does not understand why some families are complete. And with ours, it's only the D. For the firstborn, it's like he accepted it quite early. The secondborn, who's a daughter, I think for her, it was quite hard because she needs her mother quite a lot. Not to mean that the boys don't need the mother. There's 2, there's 4, there's 6, so the next one should be 8. That affection, when there are 2 parents, at least it's shared. If you're not getting it from this parent, you can always get it from this parent. Right now, it's only 1 parent, and it's not as much because I'm working most of the time. Once you get home, you'll find everybody rushing to you. They want to tell you how school was, how everything was, and you have to give them that attention. You have to be there. You have to ensure that you listen to each and every one of them. And if you're not listening to them, then you have to be clear why. If you don't do that, then you'll be raising very, very broken kids. Hi, Shikai. As a dad, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm happy that for the last 9 months, my kids are happy. There are so many activities that we do together. We cook together. At times we go out together. We have our fun. The children, they still have that warmth of their mom. They'd go out to do something, and you'd hear one of the children saying, "No, mama angetaka ufanye hivyo, don't do that." And then the other one will be, "No, hata dadi alisema hivi na hivi." Pictures that I've placed there on the wall, I've placed them so that we can actually see them. Let's feel her presence. It's not somebody that we want to get rid of haraka haraka. She was part of our lives for the longest time. Let's see her. Let's feel her. And let's appreciate everything that she gave to us.
My wife was expecting, and there were some complications, so we lost both of them. 1st September 1996. I'd sit back and think of, we've gone through a hard time to be together, and then just when we are settling, this thing happens. So there are a lot of questions also asked. Did I do my very best to make sure that she was taken care of? There's maybe a bit of guilt you'd feel, because she had a slight history with expecting, when she was expecting. Sometimes I would feel maybe I would have avoided, another giving birth again or things like that. When my wife died, we had the 2 children, a 2-year-old girl, and she was still taking milk from the bottle. And a 4-year-old boy. I mean, it's like you have to feed them, you have to clothe them, you have to make all the decisions. And it wasn't very easy. I had a lot of support from my mother. My wife's elder sister was very, very, very helpful because she'd pass by nearly every day, check on the kids, check on me. My sister-in-law actually tried to suggest that I let my daughter go and stay with her because she had a daughter about the same age. But the thought of that was now, it's like, I don't think even Mudhoni would like that idea that I'm giving away the baby. And I was very attached to the girl, by the way, right from the word go. You know, like she sees a mother who is really doting on the child, you know, don't pour this, don't do this. And it's like she senses there's something missing. So somehow I've got to try and cover up that. That was a bit of a challenge. She was still using the baby cot, which was in my bedroom. And she woke up at around 4 o'clock and then stood on my bed and opened the window, and she looked out and looked at the stars and said, "Dad, Mom is one of those stars up there." So it's like, how do you answer that? So I said, yeah, she's one of those stars. Look for the brightest one, that's her. So we stood there and started pointing, you know, trying to argue which is the brightest one. Then I realized that she knows the mother is actually dead, though I don't know if she really understood what death is. When my son was in standard 1, he came home crying one evening. So I asked him what the problem was, and he said the teachers punished him for getting a question wrong, and yet he knows the question was, he got it right. So I asked him what question was it. He says, who cooks at home? And he wrote my dad, and he got it wrong. So the next day I had to call the headmaster, and you know, I was very bitter, by the way. Though I can't really blame the teacher because that's what the book says. Mom cooks, mom washes, things like that. So when a child writes that what he knows, because at home I'm the one who does the cooking. In fact, we rarely kept a live-in house help. Most of the time we had one would come during the day, clean and then go. I actually like cooking, so we have no problem with cooking. And I think I've trained them that they all like cooking. What we don't like is washing utensils after. I remember one time my daughter telling me she wanted, I was going to the shops, to the supermarket. So she says, "Dad, remember to bring spaghetti." So I said, "Sure, I'll do that." So I went to the supermarket and bought Santa Maria. Is it called Santa Maria? Then when I got to the house, she asked, "Did you bring the spaghetti?" I said, "Yes, it's in the bag." She went and checked, said, "There's nothing, there's no spaghetti." I said, "No, I bought it, let me check." When I removed it, he said, "No, spaghetti is a top." I didn't realize there was a top called spaghetti. So it got me thinking that, oh, the mother would have realized that it's spaghetti, the dress, not that. When she started maturing, it was a little bit difficult now dealing with the girl because you don't know how, I didn't know how to approach certain issues. I talked to my sister-in-law, I talked to my sisters. They helped where they could. But sometimes it was tough, especially when you go shopping because it's like she's going to school. Do you give her the money to go and shop for herself, or do you go and shop with her? But eventually I got used to it, so we just go pick everything with her. So I think we had really formed a good rapport. So there was no tension, there was nothing. Literally, there was nothing she wouldn't tell me. I'm a teacher by profession. I started teaching in 1982. Apart from teaching, I'm trying a bit of farming. It didn't look like I would get this far. It looked almost impossible. My son is now 30 years old. My daughter is 24. And seeing how far they've gone, I'm really, really proud of them. Independent, they're working, very helpful. My daughter keeps on asking how things are at home. If something is lacking, she would try to make sure that I get it. We're always talking to each other. We always, at whatever time, if somebody has an issue, they can WhatsApp even in the middle of the night. You're sure you'll get a reply.
You lose a wife. That's a companion whom you hope you're going to be with forever. And when such things come into your life, they take you by total surprise and they leave you devastated and lost. She got sick in 2016. She went down with cancer. It's a type of lymphatic cancer called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. We were in India for about 8 months. And I will say those were the best months of my life with my wife. I really got to know what kind of beautiful person God had given me. And I could not believe that cancer was going to take away from me. I lost my wife, Lydia, on the 15th of May, 2017. For 3 months, I was in shock. When you get into that house, you sit down, she warms your water for you, she cooks for you, she makes your bed for you, she washes for you, she does those things for you. And she plays that role willingly. Now, when you come to an empty house and those things are not there, it's not easy. How do I start washing my clothes? How do I start cooking for myself? I've not cooked for myself for when? I can't even remember. I mean, like, for over 20 years, I've never gone into the kitchen. How do I start doing that as an adult? I used to work in South Sudan. So I was most of the time away from my family. And therefore, my wife is the one who brought them up. And I have 3 children. One is currently 18, the second one is 22, and my first son is 24. I went to South Sudan in 2005, and all the way I came back to Kenya in 2014. So I had maybe 2 years, with my family. I didn't have that complete bond with them.
So basically, it was a journey of daughters and the son learning the dad and the father learning his kids, getting to know each other, getting to know our flaws, our strengths, our weaknesses. Yeah, that was really a challenge for all of us, me and my siblings.
Everyone was going through the grief in their different ways. Sometimes we fall out, sometimes we disagree, but he made sure that even during that grief moment, he still brought us as a family, and together we coped, and we are where we are today because of the decision my dad made and the guidance he gave to the family.
Now, when you're caught up and you have to take 2 roles, the father and mother, it doesn't work well. Conversation, what kind of conversation do you have with your daughters? Am I bringing them right? Am I telling my children the right and wrong? Those worries are part of you, and they're huge, and they're worrying, and they're scary. And it's a burden, whether you like it or not, you can't carry alone. There's nobody there to advise me, do this, do that. And that's the role of a wife. When you're angry, she soothes you down. When you're stubborn on things, they're the ones who come and talk to you and enlighten you on a few things. So when those things are missing, and they're things that God made that they should be that way, life is never the same.
Now, that was Joe, Baritone Joe, Michael, and Roger's stories on Dear Dad. That is the hashtag. I did tell you that we'd be looking at some of your comments, but don't go anywhere because the second half is coming up. And if you're like me, you do not want to miss even a second. We have Al Black who says, seeing my dad on Dear Dad tonight has made me even more proud of him. It's been over 24 years without my mom. You mean the world to us, Pops. And then here we have Kenyaleen Muholi, who says, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and my dad Francis, may they live long to continue motivating and inspiring us. We have Elon Luvanda, who says it's Father's Day. Widowers deserve a salute. Being a single dad is not a joke. Desperation and loneliness of children is hurting. Letting them know that they'll never see their mother again is akin to a mock exam. Then we have Dan Kurgat, who says, very touching stories there on Dear Dad. Hats off to these guys for taking up the challenge of raising kids on their own, having lost their significant others on this special day. God's blessings be upon them. And lastly, for now, before we take a break, we have Wangeshi say, as much as sad as these stories are, it shows the role of a woman in life. All right, we take a break, but as I said, part 2 of Dear Dad coming up shortly.
Did you know there's a laundry bar soap that can help save you time, water, and money? Try Whitewash Extra, the 3-in-1 soap, detergent, and softener. Its unique formula provides a quick and effective wash, softens fabrics, and is gentle on your hands too. So you save by not having to use multiple products. And you only rinse once. For a laundry soap that can help save you time, water, and money, try Whitewash Extra. Brand power, helping you buy better.
John suffers from indigestion. His twin James suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
My whole life is in my phone.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Wakenya, hii fight hatukuchagua, lakini tuko na choice. Tuchague kujilinda. Tuchague kuprotect familia zetu. Tuchague usafi. Kuosha mikono. Kuosha manyumba zetu. Ndio tulinde watoto wetu. Na tuvae mask. Future yetu iko mikononi mwetu. Kenya, let's do it for the ones we love.
We are the Moriahs.
Tuangalie kama ni yenye nilikuwa nimeandika, tufanye show. Kama ni yako tusifanye show.
Huyo alikuwa Mwaramu akikontrol.
Tunaongea kuhusu poor communication because unajua that's an issue. Wewe kwanza wewe kwa hii nyumba.
Poor communication unamaanisha mimi sikuelewi.
Poor communication is poor communication. I mean this.
Ukicall mara 8 niko na watoto. Ukikuja usiku taniambia unataka kukula nini? Kuna Wambo, kuna Junior.
Hebu mtu aniongeleshe huyu mtu. Niongelesheni huyu.
Amwezi have communication from hardened position.
Why should I apologize?
No, you need
why should
because you understand. Excuse.
What comes to your mind when you think of the perfect home for your family? Victory Gardens offers exactly that and much more. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV Weekend Edition this Father's Day. If you're just joining us, we've been airing a special feature by Rose Wangui on the experiences of four fathers, Bertonjo, Joe, Michael, and if I'm not, Michael, am I forgetting? Roger, Michael and Roger, who've been sharing their experience on Dear Dad, their experiences after their wives died and left their children in their care. Part 2 starts now.
The 9 years have been empty. It's emptiness. This house of mine is just a place to sleep. Sit here, watch TV, sleep. There's no warmth. There's no cluttering of plates. I cannot quarrel the people here if my shirts are not well pressed. But if my wife was here, we would have a very heated argument. And that is where the heat. That is where the heat for the house comes from. The pain is permanent because even subconsciously, when you are asleep, yeah, you are talking to your wife, and then you wake up, you realize, no, she's not here.
Okay. Because even at a time she was in India, I could call her to ask how I need to run 1, 2, 3 things, and she would call. We would do a video call, and she would tell the kids, do this and this and this. She's far away, but we still could connect and still raise the kids somehow. But now she is not there. There are so many times that something has gone wrong, and I've pulled my phone out to call her, only to realize that, she's not around. She's not going to pick up. I've done that severally. So I just take down my phone and think of how I'm going to sort it out alone. And that breaks me. When I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I go to my bedroom and relax. Take it all out, because once they see you down, you break them. They see me as that strong pillar. And when that pillar is weak, the entire building weakens. That's not something I would want for my kids.
The pain goes away with time. I don't really think it goes away with time. It heals a little bit, but the scar is still there. Because you'd find I would be doing something in the house, then something would remind me, oh, my late wife would have liked it this way. So you sit back and those memories start flooding. I remember initially I used to lock myself in the room and really let go. Then when I come to the sitting room, I don't want the kids to know. But somehow, I don't know, the boys seem to know. My son seemed to know that things are not really well with Dad. Oh.
Is when you go for a function and people are being introduced and you are told, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, they stand up. You're called Mr. So-and-so, stand up. And you stand up, you don't have a Mrs. Actually, it's not that people don't notice it, but I want to cry. That couple don't realize. They take it for granted that, we are here together. That moment will reflect again when you are alone. You're going to start hitting that pillow and screaming, why me? Why Lydia? Why did you, why did you leave me? Why did you have to do it this way? And it happens. Many men, I'm sure they won't say it, but I'm sure they kick their bathroom doors, they kick their bedroom and, grab their heads and hair.
But then you see them out there, they're, walking up and down like they own the earth, but they are so weak. They hide so many things. Like women can give birth, it's painful. They'll go back and get another child. Those kids have been in her tummy for 9 months. She's seen them, she's changed diapers. While us, we are climbing a stool and saying, I got a son. The other day, my son Bana is healthy. And you've never touched him. If you were to tell men to get circumcised a second time, they would run for the hills. They would never agree because they fear pain. They fear both emotional pain and physical pain. If one of you must go, let it be the man. But I think women can cope with the passing of the husband. They are stronger. I had people telling others, you can't live alone. Ni kubaya sana kukaa peke yako. I've had relationships since that time. You find you are comparing somebody to your wife and finding in wanting, so you part ways. I have opted personally not to even seek remarriage because I don't want to be miserable and also make somebody else miserable.
Somebody even tries to match make. You even get occasions maybe when you have a house help who kind of like, the way things are going, she's trying to be too comfortable into the house. So there's a lot of temptation. Though I almost came close to remarrying, somehow I didn't want my children to have a stepmother. I had this feeling that a stepmother will not give them the kind of love I would give their mother would give them definitely, or I would give them. And I would be sharing now the love between them and a stepmother.
Every time that thought comes to my mind, I always feel like I'm betraying somebody. It just doesn't feel right.
Children will never want their mothers replaced. You can never force it, and you can never make it happen. They only know one mother, and that's the way it's going to be.
The women out there also, they don't make it easy for us because they think we are easy pickings. So they hear, this guy is a widower. Oh, okay. So they're just attracted with the fact that you are a widower and that you must be having an emotional vacuum that they want to feel. So their agenda is different from yours. That's why most of the time it doesn't work.
Grieving is a long and slow process. The pain of bereavement is always there, like a dull ache. But these men have decided to turn their lives around in surprising ways. They have shown courage and resilience amid their loss.
In 2016, I started a WhatsApp group for widows and widowers so that we can get together and see how we can help each other. So it's really grown. I'm very happy because we visit each other's homes and we sit down around the fire and we talk. And it's therapeutic for me.
I'm the eldest in that my wife died in '96. Quite a number of people in the group, they look up to me and ask me, Roger, how have you survived all these years?
They give you stories that really uplift you and you feel like, yeah, okay, I'm not alone in this.
There are those who actually come and they are really low. Okay, they're really low, and you can feel this person is really low. And they discuss it, we talk about it. And the next thing, that person who was really low is now the one who's now giving the advice, the next time. And this comes together because you talk. But if you put this thing in yourself, you'll burst up.
If there are people out there who are feeling down because they've lost their spouse, just the group is called Widows and Widowers Kenya. Get hold of us. We are many, and we console each other that way. Obviously, you cannot replace whoever you have lost, but at least know that there are other people out there.
And that concludes Dear Dad, but you still can take part in that conversation and send your dad best wishes this Father's Day. We have Kevin Kelly here who says, watching Dear Dad on NTV alters my mind, and he started seeing his father from a different perspective. We have Mushava here who says, I salute those single dads. I understand what they go through via the experience of 1 or 2 days when my wife is not around. We have Imali who says, Dear Dad is an awakening for many Kenyan men. Most widowers never get a chance to speak to their hearts, or rather speak their hearts, because it's usually taken as a point of weakness. And on that note, I and the extended NTV family would like to thank Bartonjo, Roger, Michael, and as well as Joe for sharing their experiences with us tonight on NTV Weekend Edition. But it hasn't been A good Father's Day for a gentleman, a middle-aged man in Molo sub-county, and that is after his wife attempted to cut off his private parts in Nakuru County. The two were said to have been partying in a group when the bizarre incident happened, and this is just another case of gender-based violence that has risen over this period of COVID-19, as Charity Mwangi reports.
Evidence of what was a domestic brawl and the weapon used on a man in Kibunja, Molo. His wife was going for the jugular and cut him deep in the groin area. Her husband, with whom they have children and a grandchild, is now in hospital, and two people they were partying with earlier now detained at the Molo police station. This family now the talk of town for all the wrong reasons.
Shikwa la mshtuko asubuhi ya leo kuona mwanamke akitoa mwanaume sehemu yake ya siri.
Kijiji hiki kimekuwa na visanga vingi vya mambo kama haya.
Sisi tunaonelea pombe ndio mbaya. Pombe imekuwa mingi kivunza.
The trail of blood at their home depicts just how serious the incident that was sparked by a domestic quarrel was. Those involved gave their side of the story, albeit incoherently.
Hii kitendo yote ilikuja juu ya ulevi.
Tukakunywa mimi na kazini yangu na Juma. Na Juma yake wakakunywa na kama upusi. Huyu yake tulikunywa tukiwa ngapi? Watatu.
And in what appears to be a case of the pot calling the kettle black, Molo MP Kuria Kimani expressed concern about the presence of illicit brew in Molo.
Pombe ambazo haramu zinapata kuwa zinakunyuka katika ile yetu. Tupata kwamba tumedeal nazo. Kama ni kumwagwa zimwagwe.
He appears too quickly to forget about his personal public display of intoxication. The locals appear to be taking their cue from their leader. And on this Father's Day, the problem of alcohol dependence is one that is hard to ignore, and one that appears to limit the ability of some men to assume and exercise the role of a father. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Time for us to take a break, but when we come back, we'll tell you about the Jubilee Parliamentary Group meeting planned for tomorrow.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Helen Paul. Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission? Yes, but how? Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean? I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years. Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach. Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul. Really? Yeah. Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
I'm here for small biasharas, in my hood or beyond. I'm here for my customers, who are sought every time they come through. Put your business on the map with Visa. Where you shop matters.
Do your gums hurt?
Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Preparations are complete at the Kenyatta International Convention Center ahead of a Jubilee Parliamentary Group meeting to be chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday. NTV understands that some big names are on the chopping block as the purge on House and committee leadership continues, as Kennedy Muriithi reports.
All Jubilee Party members of the National Assembly and their affiliates are expected to be seated at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, Tsavo Ballroom, by 8:30 a.m., ready for a virtual meeting by the party leader, President Uhuru Kenyatta. NTV has learned that among the items on the agenda are changes in House and committee leadership.
The President and the party leader of the Jubilee Coalition will be giving us nominations for the various replacement of the 16 members and any other shake-up that he'll want within the purview of the leadership of Jubilee Coalition.
But a section of leaders sympathetic to Deputy President William Ruto's course say they will be giving the meeting a wide berth.
Haina maana yoyote kutoa watu huko Garissa, kutoka kule Eldoret, kutoka kule Bungoma, kutoka kule Lodwar, wakuje waende attend mkutano ya matuzi.
Tunasema kesho mimi siendi.
Among the leaders reportedly on the chopping board is Majority Leader Aden Duale for his dalliance with the Deputy President.
I wouldn't want to give him a personal issue like it's him personally. It's an office, and so we would want to respect the office of the leader of majority. So that let the party leader express himself on that issue tomorrow.
Sources tell NTV that Kipipiri MP Amos Kimunya, Kamukunji's Yusuf Hassan, and Eldas MP Eden Keinan are some of the top contenders to replace Duale should he be kicked out.
Anybody, including myself, any member in our coalition can fit into my shoes.
And should Kimunya get the position, his newly created office of Joint Parliamentary Group Secretary will be up for grabs. Wajir Women Representative Fatuma Gedi and Keinan are also potential replacements. Among those who would benefit from the reorganization of the House are legislators from other political parties that have signed partnership deals with Jubilee. 16 positions have been left vacant after the purge on Ruto's allies. There is also talk that there will be a complete overhaul of all the National Assembly committees, which are supposed to reflect the newfound relationship between President Uhuru Kenyatta, ODM leader Raila Odinga, and Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Kennedy Muriithi, NTV in Nairobi County.
It's time to share the spoils of the fallout in Jubilee as ODM, KANU, Wiper and CCM line up for House committee slots after the ruling party's parliamentary group meeting on Monday. In your copy of the Daily Nation tomorrow, read about the final purge expected at the meeting to be chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta, plus the reopening dilemma. With 100 days of COVID-19 restrictions, Kenyans say they cannot breathe. But even as the aviation, education and religious sectors put reopening plans in top gear, the soaring numbers of infections could ruin the best laid plans. Do not miss your copy. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has warned Kenyans attending political gatherings such as that tomorrow during this period of COVID-19, reminding them that I can get it, you can get it. He says that should they get infected, they are on their own. Here's that report.
The coronavirus has shown no respect for class, age or race worldwide, but as the government employs harsh restrictions to control the spread, some politicians seem to be exceptions to the rule. In May, KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli hosted a meeting of more than 40 MPs from Western Region and other leaders at his home in Kajiado County. A clear violation of restrictions on any gathering of more than 15 people and movement into and out of the Nairobi metropolis. But Atwoli's meeting went on smoothly. Mid this month, in Vihiga County, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya and Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa met several elders from 3 sub-tribes without police interference. But on Saturday, police broke up a meeting at the rural home of Malava MP Malulu Injendi. Same treatment during Moses Wetangula's homecoming in Bungoma on Friday. His convoy was tear-gassed by the police. Most recently, Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala was captured addressing a huge gathering, apparently lending a helping hand, and his meeting went on uninterrupted.
My meeting was not tear-gassed because I was giving out relief food. Their meeting was political.
So does the end justify the means?
You cannot have a law that restrains some people under the COVID crisis, and you allow another segment to break the law wantonly.
When Health CS Mutai Kagwe was asked about double standards in dealing with the politicians, he seemed to throw the responsibility back to Kenyans.
This virus does not have a political party. When your family is suffering, I guarantee you that whoever had called you will not be with you.
Really, how is it that some politicians are handled with kid gloves when it comes to the COVID-19 regulations and the common citizen clobbered in the name of enforcement? Vincent Odur, NTV.
Well, we did tell you that an InfoTrack report will be featured, or rather the outcome of that report will be featured in the Daily Nation tomorrow, but we bring you the highlights after this break.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Explorers of the night, wale wase wa kuhustle usiku, kustreama movies, music mix diehards, and gaming fanatics. We've heard you. It is now your time to fly your flag high. Do what you love, mpaka che na Telkom. Join Usiku Sako with Telkom night bundles that allow you rule the night at prices you love. Join our tribe, Usiku Sako Squad. Just dial *544# from your Telkom line and select the night bundle of your dreams. You are the legend the night needs.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. You remember the famous last words of George Floyd, "I can't breathe." And according to InfoTrack, that's what Kenyans have to say. And they say that they need the pressure eased off their necks when it comes to the financial challenges COVID-19 has presented. This is according to a recent study by research and consulting firm, as I said, InfoTrack. And the poll was conducted between the 28th of May and the 2nd of June this year from a sample of 1,200 respondents in 24 of our 47 counties, as Anita Nkonge tells us.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to put a strain on Kenyans mentally and financially. According to a report by InfoTrack, when it comes to financial challenges, 54% of employed Kenyans in the formal and informal sector say their salaries have been reduced. 75% say they are unable to pay for formal and informal loans. 67% say they are unable to adequately pay for utilities like electricity, water, and medicine. 63% say they are unable to pay rent on time, while 60% say they are unable to pay rent in full. When it comes to the mental and social well-being of Kenyans, 81% say they're feeling anxious and stressed, 68% say they're feeling confused, 52% say they're feeling helpless, while 33% say they're feeling angry. 78% of Kenyans are finding the news on COVID-19 alarming and stressful. 83% of Kenyans trust the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe when it comes to information on the pandemic. 82% trust President Uhuru Kenyatta, 76% trust TV, 74% trust radio, and 71% of Kenyans trust governors and county officials.
As more people, are unable to make ends meet, their quality of life, of course, has suffered, has gone down. And with this, there is immense psychological stress amongst many Kenyans. It is to that extent, then, that we are, christening this poll. We cannot breathe, because the message is clear from Kenyans that we cannot breathe, and they are asking for the pressure on their necks to be eased so that they are allowed to breathe.
Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Here is news out of this world. Literally, a ring of fire solar eclipse engulfed the Earth this morning when the moon passed between the Earth and the Sun. Occurring every year or two, the exact alignment of the Earth, Moon and Sun was visible for only 38 seconds. Unfortunately for Kenyans, they only got to witness the eclipse, but those who were lucky were sky watchers along a narrow band from West Africa to the Arabian Peninsula, India and the Far East. The full eclipse lasted a total of 4 hours, and one of the last places to see the partially hidden sun was Taiwan. Fresh off her Ian Rush win is Ida Waringa with the sports news next.
The county government of Nyeri, with the approval of His Excellency Governor Mutahi Kahiga, has granted a 100% waiver of accrued interest sums on outstanding land rates, which has been extended to 30th June 2020. With a cashless system, obtain your invoice from respective sub-county offices and make payments through accounts held at Cooperative Bank or Kenya Commercial Bank, Nyeri branch, using account numbers on your screen, or M-Pesa Paybill 191900 and get your official receipt.
The deposit-taking SACCO movement is a key driver of mobilizing savings and extending credit in Kenya. The sector has at least 342 billion shillings worth of deposits and 374 billion shillings worth of loans disbursed in the economy. How is this movement weathering the COVID-19 storm? How are borrowers' loans being restructured to help them tide through the COVID-19 economic downturn? This Tuesday, Business Redefined discusses the SACCO movement, savings, and the COVID-19 shock.
We are the Morayas.
Tuangalie kama ni yenye nilikuwa nimeandika tufanye show. Kama ni yako tusifanye show.
Huyo alikuwa mwaramu akikontrol.
Tunaongea kuhusu poor communication because unajua that's an issue. Wewe kwanza wewe kwa hii nyumba.
Poor communication unamaanisha mimi sikuelewi.
Poor communication is poor communication. I mean this.
Ukicall mara 8 niko na watoto. Ukikuja usiku utaniambia unataka kukula nini? Kuna Wambo, kuna Junior.
Hebu mtu aniongeleshee huyu mtu. Niongeleshee ni huyu.
Amwezi have communication from hardened position.
Why should I apologize?
No,
why should I?
Because you understand.
What comes to your mind when you think of the perfect home for your family? Victory Gardens offers exactly that and much more. Call us today on 0790 300 300. or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Very good evening. Time to play here on NTV Sport, where we continue our focus on the state of stadia in the country. And today, we shine our spotlight on Trans Nzoia Stadium that was formerly known as the Kenyatta Stadium that's currently in deplorable shape. Sports stakeholders in the county are pointing a finger at the Patrick Haimba-led county government for neglecting sports.
Away from Kitale town on Laini Moja Street lies the Trans Nzoia County Stadium. In days gone by, the stadium, which was known as the Kenyatta Stadium, had a pedigree that is now lost. The pitch has overgrown grass. Stands and the pavilions are full of rust. Everywhere one looks, the stadium is an eyesore. This stadium, built 62 years ago, is now a deserted place. A situation that saddens John Burrows, who played as a striker for the now defunct Kitale FC in the 80s.
Viwanja haviko, hata mkiangalia stadium yenyewe hakuna. So ukija ukiangalia sasa watoto kama hawa wataanza kujiingiza kwa mambo ya drug abuse.
Trans Nzoia has produced great sports people, including Sofapaka coach John Baraza, former Bandari coach Bernard Molala, former Harambee Stars players Sami Shulei and Joseph Mwangale.
Saizi na mfumo huu wa ugatuzi tunasema kwamba kimichezo Trans Nzoia tumerudi nyuma na tumerudi nyuma zaidi. Naweza nikasema tu kwamba viwanja Trans Nzoia hii hatuna viwanja kabisa.
The renovation of the stadium began 6 years ago, and to date millions of shillings have so far been spent with nothing to show for it. Ironically, in the current financial year, 20 million shillings has been set aside for design, but no money is available for construction.
Our challenge now is how to get funding for the implementation, for the construction phase.
The governor promised that in our supplementary budget 1 of the financial year 2020-2021, he'll slot in some money to kickstart the project.
The current state of affairs has left sports people in Trans Nzoia County on the ropes, with the punches proving to be too much as sports is neglected.
First of all, we should do an overhaul of leaders from high hierarchy to downstairs, because ukiangalia, it's like these people are not performing.
It is clear that for Trans Nzoia to regain its past sporting glory, then the county government has to endeavor to urgently fix the sporting infrastructure. Warote Kiru, NTV.
Well, it's a case of same script, just a different cast across the counties. Athletics Kenya has continued its quest to ensure athletes across the country have a respite from the economic hardship occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic, with athletes in Embu County the latest beneficiaries. According to the AK official in charge of youth, Barnabas Korir, who is also the AK Nairobi chair, a camp for young athletes was planned for the school holidays in April. However, this was cancelled due to the COVID-19, and the funds that were to be used have since been redirected to cater for financial and food needs for the athletes. Korir, who was accompanied by AK Executive Committee member Elizabeth Ketanyi, urged athletes to keep training as they await resumption of the athletics calendar.
Ile chakula tumeletea hawa ni ya 3,000 na tukapatia hawa pia shilingi 3,000 ile wanatumia kwa nyumbani wakiwa nyumbani.
Napenda sana kushauri wasichana wangu wafanye bidii wakati wa training yao na wafanye bidii pia kwa masomo, kwa sababu mtu akisoma na ongeza na mbio atabona kimaisha yake.
Well, English Premier League leaders Liverpool are currently in action against neighbourhood rivals Everton in the team's first game since the restart. In an earlier kickoff, Chelsea had to come back to beat relegation-threatened Aston Villa 2-1 and strengthen their bid for a top-4 finish. The Blues dominated the first half but fell behind when Courtney House bundled in the opener. Chelsea fought back after the break and turned the game on its head with 2 goals in as many minutes from Christian Pulisic and Olivier Giroud. In the days Saturdays at the game, Newcastle saw off 10-man Sheffield United 3-0 to take a huge step towards safety. 12th placed Newcastle, who have been dealing with a takeover saga during the lockdown, now have 38 points and are 11 above the drop zone, while Sheffield are in 7th place.
Here's Barkley, the other Chelsea sub.
Well, let's take you through, as you can see on your screen there, to the game between Everton and Liverpool. Live images courtesy of SuperSport. The score currently in the 51st minute being Everton 0 and Liverpool 0 in that Merseyside derby. Great. Let's move to Spain, where relegation-threatened Celta Vigo pulled off one of the biggest surprises of the weekend, thrashing Deportivo Alaves 6-0 to boost their survival chances in the La Liga. Jason Murillo opened the scoring in the 14th minute before Iago Aspas converted a penalty 7 minutes later. Rafinha then scored a double inside 2 minutes before Nolito and Santi Mina put it well beyond doubt late in the second half. In Saturday's late result, Atletico Madrid edged Valladolid 1-0 to remain third on the log. Valencia and Osasuna are currently in action, actually just a few minutes from full time, and Real Madrid will be away to Real Sociedad at 11 p.m.
And there's a perfectly weighted ball over the top of the defence from Nolito and Mina.
What a shot there. That pretty much does it for NTV Sport tonight. I'm crossing over that assist to the stunning Olive Burrows. Olive, to you.
Thank you, Ida. And I want to say thank you so very much for joining us as we celebrate our fathers tonight. It has been NTV Weekend Edition. Kudos to Rose Wangoi and her team, camera person, editing team, the editorial team for making that possible. And again, I acknowledge the courage of Bartonjo, Joe, Roger and Michael for sharing their stories with us tonight. The hashtag remains Dear Dad. Do send your dad a message appreciating him just for everything and everything they do for us on a daily basis. Our sign language interpreter has been Flora Atieno. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.